Today we are back with our Studying the Pro series, where we break down gameplay from some of the best Warzone players out there. Now today we're taking a look at a 54 kill solo quads win here from Adrian, who's currently the #1 ranked Resurgence player in the world. For those of you playing ranked, he's currently sitting at over 19,000 SR. It is absolutely insane. Now he's going to get off to a crazy hot start here, so two quick things that I want to mention before we jump in. Number one, most importantly, I do not expect you, and you should not expect, to go out and drop a 40 or 50 kill game after watching this video. It's not going to happen. What you should do is try to pull one or two things away from this gameplay here that you can apply to your own game that will allow you to continue to improve and drop higher kill games. That's ultimately my goal. Number two, I put a link to his Twitch and YouTube down in the comments, guys. Make sure you go show him some love, drop him some follows. He is one of the best COD players in the scene right now. He's an absolute demon, and we're going to see that throughout this gameplay. Now, starting off, we see a little bit of floor loot comfortability or pistol comfortability here, just going after people with the pistol. Winery, obviously going to be a super hot drop, but more importantly, what I want to highlight about Winery is a very fast-paced POI. Town and Keep are very balanced. We're going to play positioning sometimes, we're going to play movement sometimes. Ground Zero, lot of positioning. Winery, though, lot of movement. We're going to constantly keep moving and keep breaking angles. So we're going to see two kind of enemies over here and then one enemy to his left side right here. Now, this is the first thing that I want you to really try to take away from today's gameplay, which is preemptively using movement. And what I mean by that, if you are subscribed, I always say that movement is about taking less damage. So what he's going to do here, and he does this all the time, is you're going to see him slide cancel around the corner here. But then from here, instead of standing up and either strafing left or strafing right or jumping, he's just going to drop shot. Drop shotting is one of the hardest things to track in this game if you do it well. That allows him to only take a plate and a half of damage. And by the way, last video, we were 50-50 split between subscribers and non-subscribers. So if you are looking to get better, take a second, make sure you are subscribed down below. Now, this situation right here, we notice this enemy. I want to specifically talk about how Adrian approaches this fight. So let's watch it and then we'll break it down.
Enemies deploying a counter UAV.
Pushes left. Sees shooting inside the building, obviously. Multiple teams here, as I always say. One flying in. Look at the left corner on the mini-map. Right? So he's going to perfectly center around the corner, which we're going to be talking a lot about today. And now let's go ahead and break this down. So this is the first thing that I want to talk about here, is we see this enemy straight ahead of him, right? Now, when you guys finish plating, what do a lot of you do here? A lot of you push right in this way. And the problem with that is we don't know if this enemy is pushing in or if this enemy is going to stay right here. So what ends up happening is if this enemy stays right here and plays on the outside of the building to shoot inside, you end up dying about right here. What Adrian is going to do is Adrian is going to push left here and basically play around so that he can clear in front of him, at which point he knows that he's good to push in. So a lot of times, especially on this map where we can get shot from multiple angles, we want to try to keep everything in front of us as much as we possibly can. So he clears it. Notice he keeps everything in front of him right here. He's going to go ahead, hear the guy flying in, catches on the minimap the guy in the corner, and this is another big takeaway from today's video, which is going to be centering, guys. Your centering doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to put your crosshairs where you think people are going to be and then make the slight little adjustment. Notice he turns the corner here, pre-fires, misses the shots because it's not exactly where the enemy was, and then he just adjusts, and we also see the preemptive drop shot. Now, right here, I'm not going to slow this down. Watch him hip fire this in close quarters. Just commits to it. Doesn't even think about ADSing that, especially right on top of that enemy, guys. Take advantage of that with the SMGs. And now he's going to go ahead and take Zip up. Already at 7 kills. He's at 7 kills already. Just kind of pieced a lot of things together. Winery, very hot drop, very fast pace. We're right into the next fight here. Good shots, good strafing, high damage areas. Takes a lot of damage. Tucks in the corner. Going to go ahead and replay and then work his way up for the thirst. And I want you to notice this enemy. Now, let's go ahead and play it and then we'll break it down again, because this is a big one that you need to take some notes on. Once again, we see the hip fire right there. Thirst and thirst. Okay. So first thing that we notice here as we get the thirst is I want you to watch this enemy right here. See this enemy right here? See how he's on our level? After we get a kill, guys, make sure you're paying attention and watching multiple pulses from where the enemy is moving to. Because what ends up happening here is, as you see, now he's down below. So Adrian knows this guy just landed in, which is why he's going to go ahead. Obviously, he sees him on the mini-map here. Centered around the corner. By the way, not centered perfectly, right? As he turns the corner, he's expecting this enemy to be, like, right here. when he's right in this corner here, all Adrian has to do is adjust, and he's easily able to get that down. Doesn't worry about that full kill just yet. Think about a timer, right? So 59 seconds here. I want you to take note of this 59 seconds right here. 59 seconds left in first circle, or until first circle starts closing. When he backs off here and he's able to get that enemy down, it's only been 3 seconds. It takes like 5 to 6 seconds for a self-revive. So even if this guy right here self-revives, he's never going to be able to get away, right? He's never going to be able to get away. Adrian has plenty of time. Last enemy's up above, so Adrian's going to go ahead and work it just a little bit. We're already at 10 kills. Notice loadout drop back this way. Still doesn't have loadout guns. It's one of the biggest things with the pro players is they don't really worry about... They don't worry about loadout guns too much. I think you definitely should, just because you're going to be more comfortable. You're going to be better with perks. He's not going to be running perks for a lot of this game, or he's not going to be running meta perks for a lot of this game. So he's going to go to work his way in. Even right there, did you catch that? Like, how many of you guys go... You just run through this building, right? There's no centering at the top of the stairwell. There's no centering on this door. There's no centering in this corner right here. Like, there's no centering at all when you're running through buildings, and then you're completely caught off guard. He knows that enemies are floating around here somewhere. He's just not 100% sure where. He's just going to eat the claymore here and then start to work his way, you know, down to the left side here where he ends up finding some enemies. Another big situation that I want to talk about here. A lot of things to really break down in this one. Enemies down below. Slide through. Boom. Long slide. Hip fire. 2 enemies. Okay. So where do we play from here? Right? This is a tough spot to be in. There's one major thing that I want to highlight in this. Well, there's a few, but this one is a huge one that a lot of you struggle with here. So what do you notice that he does after this fight here? So first things first, going to go ahead and challenge. We see a little bit of a long slide. What I mean by that is notice he doesn't immediately cancel it. He kind of lets himself slide through here, right? There's the long slide, which allows him to kind of break that camera. Again, movement allows us to take less damage. We see the hip fire right there. Obviously gets the down. Now, in this moment, this enemy that's on his level can either, I'll kind of draw this way, drop down low, or he can stay up high, right? So we've got to be prepared for both. Adrian's kind of guessing which way this guy's going to go. Is he up top? Is he down low? Is he up top? He is up top, and he ends up taking a decent amount of damage. Also catches this last enemy. Now, 2 things that we want to highlight from this moment forward. First things first, just broke the line of sight, right? So now he's got a little bit of a window to get away from this enemy. Number 2, straight through the window, already starting to plate. Okay, so he's not even on the ground yet, and he's starting to plate up because sprinting while plating is one of the biggest ways that we outplay enemies. Now, we know it's one more alive here, so what does he do? He doesn't run away from the enemy. He kind of runs towards the enemy a little bit, right? So he's already working his way back towards where he expects this enemy to be, centered his crosshairs. So when we look at this, it's a 1v1 fight at this point. All we have to do, though, is get plated and then re-engage. This is the re-engage that I always talk about in my videos. He's going to work his way back to where this enemy was, at which point he can start to go, okay, is he there? No. Is he around the corner? No. Is he here? No. You see him just clear. Now, where do we hear him? We hear him like right outside here, and this is important, okay? Because we're gonna break down this situation. We hear him like somewhere in this area right here. Now we're gonna break this one down too, because this is a big one to understand. It's another mistake a lot of you make. So here's what a lot happens to a lot of you, okay? So what happens to a lot of you is this. You have this enemy, right? Now, Adrian's going to break this guy and not get the down, at which point this enemy is going to retreat. Okay, so what does this enemy tell his teammates? What would you tell your teammates if you're the 21 Savage skin? Hey, on me, on me, on me. Well, if we look at the minimap, we know that there's an enemy like somewhere around that area. So what's going to end up happening is this guy is going to clearly chase and push up the stairs. Now, what happens with a lot of you guys is you end up chasing here, right? And you end up chasing this guy, and then you get caught from this enemy pushing up the stairs. You put yourself in the middle of 2 enemies. So what Adrian's going to do here is basically say, hey, this guy's broken and running away. I know there's one down below me. People play predictable, which means he's going to push right up the stairs and look at the hip fire again. Doesn't even think about ADSing that at all. Now he's going to go ahead, grab this AMR9. I'm just going to let this one play. Just want to preemptively, I just want to highlight like the preemptive drop shot right here. Again, preemptively using movement before you actually have to do it. Drop shot. Look at how he lets his recoil go to get the headshots, right? So preemptive drop shot, but look, see how he lets the recoil go a little bit and he kind of lets that recoil work back up to allow him to hit high damage areas. That's how you get that super fast TTK, which also allows us to take less damage. He's at 15 kills already, one more flying in. He's got this FR advancer that he's literally going to be able to do nothing with. So he's got to try to, you know, figure out what gun he wants to use. He's got, I don't know what this gun is, by the way. I literally have no idea what this gun is at the moment. I know this is the AMR9. I don't know what his secondary is. Not 100% sure where people are, but he does hear a portable radar down. I mean, gotta execute. He just hits. He actually misses a decent amount of shots throughout this game. He's not perfect at all. Trying to figure out where somebody is. Not 100% sure. Watch the slide. And this is simple movements and advanced combinations, guys. This is really, really... When you break this down, this movement is nothing special at all. It's nothing special at all. It takes practice, but this is a tack sprint, slide cancel, standing, jump, strafe to the right. That's it. That's it. That's how he takes less damage. That's why he only takes a plate there. One of the best moves that you can do, especially when it becomes more fluid, especially against good players. Because you're forcing, what you're doing is you're forcing enemies to track you. That's the most important thing. One more above. He's going to go ahead. He hears the guy flying, so he's going to work his way over towards his loadout. And now we're going to get back in the mix here, right? So we're just going to get back in the mix by looking at people flying in. It's one thing you're really going to have to do in Fortune's Keep to put yourself in the mix. Down with the AMR. Going to go ahead and challenge enemy number 2 here. Go ahead and slide around the corner. We're going to hip fire that right there. There's the wipe. Grab the loadout. MTZ, Ram 9. Go ahead and keep it moving over this direction where there was another enemy. Sees the guy flying over here. So watch. Let's watch how he plays his cover here. After he's going to... Yep. Hold that for me, please. Take advantage of throwing knives, guys. I hate doing this because there's nothing that is more annoying in this game than getting one-shot throwing knife by a player who that should be dead. Like, if there wasn't one-shot throwing knives, Adrian's got to make an exceptional play here to be able to basically give himself the window to get that down. But take advantage of throwing knives while you can. I don't think they're going to nerf them. They haven't showed any signs of it yet. Now, watch him play left and right of this rock. Okay, watch how he's very careful about re-peeking the same angle, which is something you should absolutely be careful of. Watch, left side, shoulders left, peeks right, down, thirsted. And what that does is, by the way, like, those guys are holding a side of the rock, right? They're just going to hold the right side. So he kind of shoulder peeks it and then peeks around to the other side, catches them off guard because they've got to adjust their aim, which, let's be honest, a lot of people struggle with. A lot of people struggle with those flicks. Just playing his cover here. We're going to have to do this on Fortune's Keep. Play these little objects as cover and be really careful about how we're challenging fights because you can get caught off guard and shot from multiple angles. I mean, that's just the MTZ's busted. Notice he's using double non-suppressed weapons. He's kind of inviting action. He's on radar a lot, but obviously he has the confidence. I wouldn't recommend it. I think you go non-suppressor on your secondary, on your SMG, and you run a suppressor on your primary if possible. By the way, when we talk about 500 IQ, like big brain, aggressive plays, I've never seen this play made before. I don't even know if I would recommend you to do this, but I completely understand why he does. He buys a portable redeploy drone. Now, what does that do? He's going to fly. Instead of trying to rotate up the hill and figure out what's going on, this is the same thing as the redeploy balloons. Like, he just gets height and he can get information and he can start to rotate. Now, notice we have 2 enemies right here. Watch how he plays this and then a few things I want to highlight and talk you through. Watch minimap after the kill. Check it. Okay, that's interesting. There were 2 guys here. Now, he's AFK, so that's regardless of the point. The biggest thing that I wanted to highlight there for you was they're not on the same team. But let's talk about live pings. Guys, if you are subscribed, I talk about live pings all the time. And here's why this is so important. Why this is so important is because we have this enemy right here. Now, if he's not live ping, this wall is breaking our line of sight, which means he could push this way. I mean, he could technically push this way. He could push this way and then into the building. We kind of lose sight of what exactly he's going to do. But because we have the live ping, Adrian Adrian can easily track that this enemy's pushing back left and knows how to center his crosshairs right there, at which point he can easily get that kill. Now, we noticed multiple enemies to our right side on the minimap here. We saw 2 enemies thanks to these little power-up things, which I don't know how long those are going to be in the game. They're kind of fun. The sunglasses here. We got the gift box that gives you a bunch of good loot. We've got the one that allows you to move around quicker. So, regardless, I don't know how long they're going to be in the game. Next up here, we're going to focus on fighting outnumbered. Few key things, which I know a lot of you struggle with fighting outnumbered. Few things that I really want to highlight in these situations that he does perfectly. So, he gets sniped, okay? So, we're dealing with one-shot snipers. We're dealing with snipers from long ranges. Got to be careful. He hears an enemy close here, so he's going to back off, and he's going to think about how he wants to re-engage. But up until this point, we don't have concrete information about how many enemies exactly it is. So, he's going to work his way through, right? Working through. Now, at this moment, he realizes it's 2 enemies. When it's multiple enemies, we've got to start off playing positioning. So he's actually going to work his way to the rooftop, which is exactly what you should do. Focus on playing that positioning, because if both guys shoot at you at the same time, you're never going to win that gunfight. And what does he do? Solo duo situation. Enemy number 1 down clean, which means he can easily challenge enemy number 2. Little bit of movement there. Once again, we see just basic movement allows him to take less damage, and he's worried about this next team that's pushing up here after he pops a UAV. This is another one where we talk about a 1v3, 1v4 situation. And what I want to highlight here, what we'll pay attention to, is how he's always worried about the next enemy. He's not worried about the guy he downed. He's worried about the next guy. Not worried about that guy, worried about the next ones. Preemptively throws the smoke here too. Watch this. He preemptively gives himself cover, right? So if this goes bad, if he challenges one of these 2 guys and gets shot at, he just pulls back into the smoke. He's not having to throw the smoke and then finesse from there. The smoke is already down, which would allow him to get to the building. Not worried about that thirst yet. Hits the throwing knife, rotates around after plating, pops up. Still not worried about either down until that moment. Notices 2 enemies still alive. One further back. Obviously, this guy on the truck self-revived, so he's got to push up here. Watch how he's never worried about the guy that he downed. He's always worried about the next enemy here. Yep. So you see how he's never worried about the 1 kill. He's always worried about that next enemy, especially in, you know, duos, you can get away with it a little bit more. Trios and quads, that's where a lot of you get caught overselling for a thirst, because you're so worried about that 1 single kill that you get caught by the next teammate. Now, what do we do from here? He's just going to act on the information. He's got 1 flying there. Gonna tag that guy a little bit, not quite able to get the down. Got this guy straight ahead. So he's just gonna work this direction, guys. This is the only information that he has to act on. You know, he doesn't know if anybody's in keep. He doesn't know if anybody's back behind him. He's just working based on this info that he has at the moment. 31, by the way, already. 31, by the way. Absolutely insane. Good down right there. Using the MTZ, which was nasty. My personal favorite right now is the BP-50. Ram 9's really good. HRM 9's really good. Good thirst right there. Notice barely, just barely through the counter UAV, we get this enemy on the minimap. You cannot miss this, guys, because here's what you notice. Here's what a lot of you guys miss. You guys are so focused on these guys down here that you miss, like, you guys are so focused on these guys, which are on this enemy's team, this guy's teammates, that you miss this. But this is the guy that you need to be challenging right here. This is the one that you want to go push, because he's down below, and you know, he's right down below. He's not super, look at where he is, right? He's just going to work up here. He's in this little crevice here. He's still on Adrian's level to a certain extent. Yep, 33, 30, yeah, 33 right there. Just got some information back behind. Now, let's talk about this. For all the people who want to say Adrian has wall hacks because of this clip is not rocket science. This clip is one of the easiest things to explain, and all this comes down to is good centering. Watch. He hears the zip, so he centers his crosshairs. The centering, if you work on your centering, I promise you, you will improve drastically. Like, one minor change, centering can be difficult, but one minor change will vastly improve your game. It's the #1 thing I would say between pro players and average players. Centering right on the zip, and he just shoots. He shoots in the Ram 9 TTK so fast that he breaks that guy. He gets the thirst. Now this guy's flying down below. He's just going to go ahead and challenge him. Gets the down, finds a way, finds the angle to go ahead and get this thirst, and now he's going to go ahead and keep working. One back up top. Let's go ahead and keep rocking. We've got fire sale here, so let's go ahead and pop UAVs. Hasn't popped a ton of UAVs this game, but he's had enough information that he can just keep rocking and rolling. He's had enough information from people flying in, from people shooting unsuppressed weapons, from Winery just being a hot drop and a ton of people being in that area. So he's going to go ahead and work his way up here. Multiple enemies straight ahead of him here. And this is a pretty simple one. He's not doing anything special at this moment besides hip fire before you ADS and commit to the hip fire in close quarters. Doesn't even think about it, right? Doesn't even think about aiming down sight there. He's just gonna go. Team in there. So he's just gonna work his way behind. He still has his second UAV though. Still has this second UAV. See just a little bit of centering where we think this guy is, and then it's a reaction. And that's one of the biggest things. Your centering doesn't have to be perfect. You've got to be ready. Half of centering is thinking about where enemies might be. That's half the battle with centering. The other half is putting your crosshairs exactly where you think they are when you're pushing through like stairwells and into buildings and stuff, which allows you to get that first shot and you're really anticipating much better. He's just going to end up leaving these guys. A little bit of an interesting decision here, but hey, you know what? 3 to 4 enemies in a building, let's not go push in there, right? Not the smartest position to be in. Down right there, Thurston, gonna go ahead, shooting on the mini-map here, so he's just gonna work his way up. Notice he has people to his right side. Down, there's number 40. That should be 40, right? Yeah, he's just all over the place. Go ahead and pop Yui here, right after this. Yep, and that's just the smoke, guys. This is the... I think the number one thing with smokes is a lot of you guys aren't using them well enough. This is a very quick reaction. As soon as he gets shot in the back here and realizes, hey, I can't overcommit. He doesn't get that down, by the way. Notice he does not get that enemy down. He's going to throw the smoke and then just play it. Pull back just a little bit. Still has to worry about the guy behind him. Pop UAV after reloading. Gives him the information. One straight ahead. Good shots with the Ram 9. Take that enemy out. Respawn is disabled, by the way, so doesn't really have to worry about these guys flying back in at this point. Still multiple enemies to his left. So what did I say? I said ground zero, we play a little bit more positioning. Winery, we can finesse a lot more. We can play a lot faster. Keep and counter a balance of both. At certain times, you're going to be playing movement. Other times, you're going to play positioning. Ground zero, a lot of positioning right here. Always thinking about the next angle that you can take. A little bit of high ground right here allows him to shoot down. Now that we play a little bit of positioning here. Down right there. Still worried about the next enemy because he knew there were 2 still up. That guy's in the car, the last one. Just going to go put the pressure on, and this is just where Adrian's the #1 player in the world and has insane tracking. I mean, that is just absolutely crazy to be able to get that kill that easily. 44 kills, guys. Still, what, 4 other teams still alive? I mean, let's go ahead and clutch this win. At the end of the day, we're in a great spot here based on numbers to be able to hit this 50. And he finishes with 54. So he still gets 10 kills here. There's going to be buybacks and stuff like that. Only thing that I don't love here, this is a very high, and I want you to remember this. This is a very high risk, high reward situation. It's high risk because he's dropping down low and giving up high ground, right? So now all of a sudden there's the possibility of him getting stuck down here. High reward. He's going to get UAV. He's already got self-revive, so he doesn't need that. So he's in a good spot here. I might have grabbed like a portable radar there or something, just for a little bit extra info. He's just going to go ahead and work his way up. Enemies to his left. Enemies in town that he's got to be aware of. So he's in a pretty good spot right here. Make sure you get that down. And notice he's being a little bit over-aggressive here for Thirst because it does take them completely out of the fight, right? Because there is no respawn. Down. Another enemy right here that got the kill confirmed. Just going to go put the pressure on here with the Ram 9. A little bit out of zone, but he's got plenty of time here to work his way in. And why does he work his way over this way? Why does he work his way over this way? That guy got away, okay? So watch what happens. I want you to remember... You're not going to be able to see the skin here, but I want you just to remember that this enemy drops down and does not end up going down here. He doesn't actually go down in this situation. He drops down, but he's not down to the point where he can get full killed. Okay, so remember that enemy, okay? We're thinking about him. Look at the mini-map here, right? This guy's down below here. This guy's down below somewhere here. Where does he have to get to? He's got to keep rotating around this way, right? That's where he's got to go. So as Adrian works his way back up here and gets shot from the left side, he's going to go ahead. He's going to drop his way. He's going to drop down. And who does he run into? He's got to go somewhere, guys. You cannot forget. Now, Adrian heard him. He heard the footsteps. But that's the information that you can't forget. You can't forget that that guy's still down low there. 48 kills, 5 other enemies left. He's got to work his way back up here. Tough circle pull, of course. The skill-based circle pull is a thing. No comment. I don't know. I don't think so. I'd hope not, but sometimes I feel like there are, because this is a brutal circle pull when he's on an absolute heater. And he's in a really tough spot. No smokes. So he's got to find a way to get this down right here. That's just catching an enemy. Keep in mind, he's playing in 1440p, guys. This recording's probably in 1080. His recording that I'm going off of is probably in 1080. 1v4 situation. He knows everybody's kind of in front of him at this point. He's just not 100% sure where, so where does he play? Plays high ground. Enemy soldier incoming. This is where Adrian's just the best player in the world. A little bit of movement there, hits all high damage areas, and just like that, we're in a 1v2. We're in a 1v2 situation. I'm going to push this forward just a touch here because what's going to end up happening here is he's going to fall down. So notice circle pulled a little bit more. He's going to end up falling down here in a second, and he gets shot from the enemy. So he ends up falling down right here. And by the way, notice this right here. This is just crazy. Just, I don't know what these perks are. I don't know if those are the perks he's running. Maybe they are. Maybe he's not running double time, which would be crazy in my opinion. But just don't panic here. Replate. He probably could have bought a gas mask at that buy station previously. He's just chilling. He's got time here. Circle's going to close, but he still has time. Watch him shoulder the corner. Boom. Shouldered, centered perfectly. Down. Not worried about the thirst just yet. Gets shot from, or sees that enemy. And the last thing that I want to say here, guys, this is the last thing that I noticed, and I need to play around with this a little bit more. Notice that right here, he does not slide cancel around this corner. All he does is turn it and aim and just shoot the guy. I mean, that's just a clean 54 kill game, guys. 20,000 damage from the #1 ranked resurgence player. I hope you found today's video helpful. Like I said, pull 1 or 2 things from this gameplay that you can apply to your own. As I always say, let's get better today, and I will see you tomorrow.